So ladies and gents, I'm outside a stadium which needs no introduction, the home of English football, the home of the FA Cup final, last season the Champions League final, and more recently Taylor Bloody Swift. But as much as I'm going to be honest with you, always been a little bit more country over club. I'd take one World Cup, Euros, I'd take anything with England over a decade of success on domestic level. But I need to admit something. I've mentioned it before. For almost 2 decades since this ground was rebuilt, I've held a vendetta against this place. I really wasn't a fan of this place when the old one was knocked down and the new one was built. But you've read the title. Today we're going to be doing a Wembley Stadium tour. Ladies and gents, welcome to the home of English football, Wembley Stadium. Will that arch become as iconic as those iconic Twin Towers at the old Wembley Stadium? Well, let's learn a bit about Wembley, its history, and more specifically, the new Wembley, even though it's not new anymore. Ladies and gents, hit that like button. Today, Wembley is football paradise. Let's go.
God save the Queen, the fascist regime.
Every player who's made his England debut, old Lee Dixon, Ian Wright, fucking hell, a lot of Arsenal players on there. So then guys, the tour starts off at the crossbar exhibition. The famous crossbar from the 1966 World Cup final is hanging above us. We'll talk more about that later on in the video, but as you can see, you'll learn a bit about the construction of the old Wembley, which was originally called the Empire Stadium, famous of course for those beautiful Twin Towers. Now this place took 300 days to build and cost $750,000 when it opened in 1923. We uploaded a video yesterday on the Crystal Palace Stadium, which hosted 20 FA Cup finals, but Wembley first hosted the FA Cup final when it opened in 1923. Now this is an original turnstile. We've seen one of these before at the National Football Museum in Manchester. Again, check that video out on the channel, of course. Subscribe if you're not already. You'll then learn a bit about the construction of the current Wembley Stadium, which started in 2003 and finished in 2007 when it opened its doors. Now this cost $789 million to build back then, which is around $1.5 billion today. To put that into perspective, the old stadium cost of 750 Great British pounds would be under 50 million in today's money. An absolute bargain, eh? If you want a good deal, look no further than today's sponsor, HelloFresh. Now, as a football stadium enthusiast, a ground hopper, I'm on the go a lot, as I'm sure you are, so the last thing you need is the stress of sorting dinner for the whole family. Let HelloFresh handle easy dinners with quick recipes and pre-measured ingredients delivered to your door. Do you think the England football team rock up to Wembley and then have the stress of trying to sort out dinner? No. Bukayo Saka, Phil Foden and this man, Harry Kane, will have somebody sorting it out for them, as can you with HelloFresh, as there's variety for every member of the family. Like the England football team, everyone's got different taste. The variety HelloFresh offers keeps everyone happy and excited for dinner time. But just as we have to keep the missus sweet every Saturday when we go off out watching football, you can keep the whole family happy at meal times, as HelloFresh not only provides convenient, delicious meal solutions, but also helps bring families together, creating memorable moments over dinner. We're going to talk about some of the huge moments made at Wembley, but it's time for you to create your mealtime moments today by following the link below, or simply use the QR code on the screen with code HelloRise for a whopping 60% off your first box with HelloFresh plus free desserts for life. Sweeter than that Gaza goal at Wembley versus Scotland. What's your favourite meal on match day? Let us know in the comments below. back to Wembley. So yeah, there we have that famous Jules Rimet trophy that Bobby Moore lifted in '66. It got stolen, didn't it? And then got found by a dog in a garden hedge around the corner, a dog called Pickles. Anyway, you'll read a bit more about Wembley's history as well as football. Even though, to be honest, I could care less. You learn through this little walkway some other events that Wembley has hosted and so on. But again, the bloody Spice Girls, I do not care. Maybe people do. Let me know in the comments below. Do you care about the Spice Girls? As you can see, the new, I need to stop saying new, the current Wembley is a lot closer to the pitch than the old Wembley. So a lot of our fond memories come through nostalgia and moments in terms of actually watching a football match. The new Wembley is better, I'd say, because you're a lot closer to the pitch.
3, 2, 1.
Right guys, so the tour guide said there's around 90,000 seats, and keeping in mind that the new camp in Barcelona is being refurbished, so technically at the moment this is the biggest stadium in Europe in terms of seating capacity. Right then guys, quickly because we've got to move on. Do you prefer this Wembley or the old Wembley in terms of the way it looks?
Old Wembley.
Yeah, old Wembley for me.
It's at this point the tour gets a little bit too far away from football for my liking, but we'll talk about that at the end of the video. And because we're a football channel, let's keep things on track. Insert joke here about Spurs lifting a trophy, rare occasion. And as you awesome German subscribers will agree, the ball definitely crossed the line and it was definitely a goal. Yeah, where did we park, Dave? Round here somewhere, wasn't it? Yeah. Twin Towers? Yeah. You do know, it's up to you whether you want to see it, there's a top of one of these in a park nearby. So referencing that vendetta I've held against Wembley for all these years comes down to those Twin Towers. Now, I was very bitter, very upset that those Twin Towers were demolished. Now, those Twin Towers were symbolic to the old Wembley, and for me, the new Wembley, albeit okay, it's generic. It's just the fact it's on the same site as to why it's called Wembley. It's a completely different stadium, but if you are a bit of a nostalgia merchant like myself and you want to pay a visit to at least whatever's left of one of those Twin Towers, there is a park about 20-minute walk away from Wembley Stadium, maybe a bit less. So then guys, as you saw on that sign, this is the base of the flagpole from one of the Twin Towers, which was obviously iconic. I just feel like those Twin Towers should have been put in a place on Wembley Way. They should have remained, which surely, I know logistically it would have been difficult, but with modern technology and all that, surely there'd have been a way to keep more of those Twin Towers. So I'm sounding still a little bit bitter, so let's crack on with the tour and then you can hear me rant at the end of the video. Back to Wembley. So the players will enter here to get to the changing room. They have to go through the press, but the press, the media, are contractually obligated to not try and pester the players on their way in. However, the players are contractually obligated to speak to the media post games. The press conference is also where the musicians warm up. As you can see, AEW were recently here, the wrestling company. That's why you've got the branding all over the place. Now, the tour guide was a real nice bloke. He was an Arsenal fan, and I'm sure he knows his stuff about football, but he did keep going on about this being a non-biased stadium. God, maybe that's not why we're winning things, guys. Let's be biased. Would you get the Italians do that? No. Huh? Burn it?
White.
It's Ellen White, the women's player. It's a women's shirt. Go get on the bed, Dave.
American footballers will put their helmets in there. At the very bottom is a drawer underneath, in which players will also put their belongings in. And this drawer is very interesting. Please don't try it. And these players will put their into two. On the bottom is a stopcock.
Right then, guys, currently sat in Harry Kane's seat. Now, did you know that to make this changing room, the home changing room and the away changing room, which we can't go to but are identical, in total for the two changing rooms it cost $3.5 million to kit them out. So, as you can see, over 1.7 million, and apparently Gareth Southgate wanted this to be done in like a horseshoe shape to bring good luck, even though that didn't happen, and so that people could see over there where the old man is, Southgate giving his team talks. What do you guys think of the changing rooms? Get involved in the comment section below. Right then, guys, we're apparently now lining up to go down the tunnel onto the pitch. Fun fact, the record football attendance right here at Wembley was Cardiff City versus Portsmouth in the 2008 FA Cup final. Now, can you tell me the old Wembley record attendance? Literally, I've not got a clue. Let us know in the comments below. The record attendance for a concert was set by Adele in 2017, and as a reminder, Tottenham played here from 2017 to 2019 as the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium was being built. Ladies and gents, as you can see, there's no pitch. It's been taken up. You've got the tractors in the background. That's because AEW Wrestling was here recently. We've mentioned Taylor Swift before that. And of course, that charity shield, community shield that no one wants to talk about. So adding to what I said earlier with there being around 90,000 seats and currently the new camp being renovated, this is actually the largest stadium in Europe with every seat covered. You can kind of see behind me that the retractable roof has the roof open, so obviously uncovered at the moment. And when they do want to retract that roof back, when they do want to cover those seats, they do it 24 hours before a game. So technically speaking, all 90,000 seats are covered by a roof, which, as of filming this, isn't the case at the new camp, but I don't know, is the new camp, the new camp, going to have every seat covered? Let us know in the comments below. Right, me and Dave are going to have a race up these steps. Let's go. You will go on my first whistle.
Yeah. They're mine, I'm only 52.
Go.
Go.
You won. You won. Winner. That's about where you lift the trophy as well from there.
Is it?
That's it. So as a reminder, let's forget the community shield. Where my mum's going is where the City players were kicking off, throwing their medals, Jack Grealish, Haaland and stuff, as they made their way up here. Right then, guys, I've just spotted something. We're in the royal box at the moment, so why on earth is there a sign over here saying help us stop discrimination and antisocial behaviour? Wow, I'm sure there's a joke in there somewhere. The Royals have been kicking off in this box.
What was the third one? I can't see it.
Right, Tal?
Jump even. Oh, sorry.
Oh, look at that.
Did you know the stadium contains 2,618 toilets? More than any other venue in the world. Apparently, that's because the food is horrendous and it will go straight through you. I'm only joking. The food is bloody lovely. I've tried it and it is lovely. Right guys, so I want to give you an honest review as to what I thought of the tour, what I thought of Wembley Stadium and so on. Now, I don't know. I mean, it's a nice stadium, but I must say, being honest, should I say, the tour felt like they were touring you to kind of butter you up to come here on an event day, a concert day and stuff. There wasn't a lot of football mentioned on the tour. I mean, at the start of the video, we said this is the home of English football. But on the tour, they kind of made it feel like the home of Taylor Swift, the home of Adele and various other concerts. And the tour guide, he was a nice bloke, albeit an Arsenal fan. I won't hold that against him. He even admitted that Wembley wasn't generating enough revenue from football alone when it first reopened, so they had to branch out and had to start hosting other events as well as football to make more money. And I understand that, but as a football enthusiast, as a football channel, that kind of goes against the whole home of football thing. Now, back up there is a statue, is a rugby statue. Now, can you imagine Bobby Moore outside Twickenham? No. I get that this is 2024 and we live in a wokey world because they kept mentioning in a million times this is a non-biased stadium. Everything's fair, home and away. Can you imagine other nations being so unbiased and unfair? No. Do everything you can, Wembley, to give England an advantage. We need it because we don't win anything, do we? We haven't since '66. So that's probably why we're too worried about being woke and PC rather than celebrating English football history, because if you are to do the tour, there's very little on the history of English football. You've got the crossbar at the start of the tour, which is obviously the same crossbar that from the '66 World Cup, when obviously that goal was definitely a goal, German fans. Wink wink, maybe was a goal. If you want to go to Wembley Stadium and do a tour, I'd probably recommend that you do one of the matchday tours that they offer when England are playing or the Lioness are playing. I've not been on one, but I'm guessing they're going to be a lot more football orientated. So, as much as I've been a bit negative about Wembley, it's all right. I actually feel like, as much as it comes under criticism, the Olympic Stadium, the London Stadium, West Ham's ground, probably would be more suited for a national stadium. It's more similar to the old Wembley than even the new Wembley. I reckon they should swap. I reckon West Ham should play at Wembley and then England should play at the Olympic Stadium. Maybe that's an absolutely ludicrous idea, just like the ludicrous idea of what I've got behind me. If you're wondering why I'm amongst German football shirts, and if I've not said enough controversial stuff, we've got an RB Leipzig shirt over there, Wolfsburg, Hoffenheim. We have got a massive Bundesliga tricot football shirt video for you next week. But yeah, a little bit disappointed from a football fan's perspective. Everyone turned up in football shirts, a lot of people from overseas, and I'm thinking to myself, do they really want to know about Live Aid, Band Aid, or whatever it was called? Maybe, but probably not, being honest. Anyway, let's head down Wembley Way with the folks. I'm going to have a beer. Ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed that video. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you for more stadium tours and football content, not bloody Taylor Swift content. I'll see you soon.